3. Okay.
Hello, I'm John Snyder. With me right now is Dick Heller. Dick Heller is an historic figure. Dick was the plaintiff in what has become the very famous Heller case at the United States Supreme Court, in which the Supreme Court declared definitively that the Second Amendment right to keep and bear arms refers to an individual right as opposed to a collective right, as our opponents in this campaign stated at the time and for many years before that. The Supreme Court, though, declared affirmatively that the Second Amendment right to keep and bear arms means what it says, that it applies to an individual, and that the District of Columbia law, which prohibited the private possession of handguns, was unconstitutional. Now, we're very fortunate to have Dick here, and we're very fortunate that Dick carried on this campaign. He did it for years and years and years. He persevered until he got to the Supreme Court, and until luckily he won the case, declaring the individual right to keep and bear arms. Now, I wanted to ask Dick here a few years after that very famous decision what he thinks has been the result of that decision and what the significance has been as indicated by events thus far. So Dick, why don't you let us know what you think about all this?
Well, I'm not a historian and I'm not a sociologist, but it appears to me that when Scalia specifically said that it is an enumerated right, the force of that word has carried on way far beyond the case. It went to Chicago, it's gone back to California, and what I think is the result of that is if you drew a chart, I don't know the answer to this, but it seems to me that if you drew a chart from the time 2008 when the decision was made until now, you would see that the number of states that allow ownership and concealed carry has just taken off like this. And one of these days when as a hobby, I'd like to plot that curve.
Well, maybe that's something to look forward to in the future.
And additionally, from the energy and the amount of people that we saw here today, the students from Students for Concealed Carry on campus, is just, it's a whole new wave that didn't exist before, much before the decision.
I think we can honestly say that the future is on our side, that our opponents in this battle are really on the wrong side of history, and that ultimately the right of law-abiding individuals to keep and bear arms is going to be found to be more and more secure, both by legislation and by court decisions.
And additionally, someone said today that there's no one anymore that is campaigning on gun control issues.
Very, very few. Very,
and
very
expect
few.
to win.
Yes, yes. I like to speculate that when I first got into this conflict about 45 years ago, you might have counted about 15% of the members of the House and Senate in the United States Congress who were people you could really depend upon to defend the right of law-abiding citizens to keep and bear arms. We were sort of overwhelmed in those days. Now, the situation seems to be reversed, in that in the Congress there may be about 10 or 15% of the members who are really die-hard opponents of the right to keep and bear arms. And I think that a lot of that is due to the effect not only of our efforts over the years, but to the historic decision which came about in the Supreme Court decision in the Heller versus District of Columbia case.
Thank you, John.
Okay, thank you.
Wonderful.